Good evening, Assalamualaikum keluarga Malaysia. You're watching News at 10. I'm Jessica Lee. Making the headlines tonight. Consumerism programs to nurture smart consumers and ethical traders. A date set for second SPM examination session. Now, the use of groundwater in Malaysia is at less than 3% despite its capacity of 5,000 billion cubic meters of groundwater resource and regeneration capability of 64 billion cubic meters annually, says Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob. The Prime Minister said this massive capacity meant that groundwater could be an alternative source of water supply for the country, but for now it is only used as a source of drinking water in Kelantan, Terengganu, Pahang, Sabah and Sarawak.
Malaysia mempunyai sumber air bawah tanah berkapasiti 5,000 bilion meter padu dengan keupayaan penjanaan semula sebanyak 64 bilion meter padu setahun.
The Premier said countries with high usage of groundwater included Denmark at 100%, Austria 98%, Thailand 80%, China 78% and the United States 50%. The National Water Resources Study for Peninsular Malaysia 2000 to 2050 found that groundwater can be used as an alternative source of water for the rural and isolated areas and for various purposes through several suitable methods and processes. He also said that the Energy and Natural Resources Ministry, through the Minerals and Geoscience Department, was actively implementing activities such as mapping, development, monitoring and development of data center and groundwater inventory to increase use of groundwater. The Premier added that the measure is to increase the use of groundwater as a conjunctive source of water supply for the use of structures such as underground dams, managed aquifer recharge and riverbank filtration. Now, the government, through the Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, or KPDNHEP, wants to nurture a new generation of smart consumers and ethical traders. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said in this regard, various consumerism programs will be formulated by KPDNHEP to empower consumers, particularly in the aspect of financial literacy, purchasing decisions and compensation. Elaborating further, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri also advised consumers not to be easily hoodwinked by tricks and scams used by unethical traders. He said from the total number of complaints received by the ministry as of the end of last month, 36.45% or 24,150 complaints were related to online transactions. He noted that this was following the implementation of the Movement Control Order in March 2020, during which more online purchases and transactions were done. In view of this, the Premier said to empower the digital consumers, the government has developed the Easy Adu smartphone application as another consumer complaint platform, in turn further strengthening consumer protection initiatives.
Aplikasi yang dinamakan Easy Adu dibangunkan pada tahun 2015 dan tahun lepas ia ditambah baik bagi membolehkan pengadu menyalurkan aduan serta-merta melalui telefon pintar masing-masing.
The use of mechanization technology in the agricultural sector can reduce dependence on manpower, in turn ensuring the country's food production is not affected. Agriculture and Food Industries Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ronald Kendi said efforts to develop the technology through the Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute were in line with efforts to achieve goals set under the National Agro-Food Policy 2.0, 2021-2030, to boost the agro-food industry. Explaining further, he said mechanization technology is able to increase yield and reduce dependence on imports as well as save labour costs. He said this following Mardi's findings on mechanism technology for round cabbage cultivation in lowlands, which would be beneficial in ensuring sufficient production for the local market.
Dengan penemuan-penemuan ini tentu sekali ianya akan mengurangkan kebergantungan kepada buruh, menjimatkan kos dan meningkatkan produktiviti hasil tuaian. Jadi ini merupakan kajian berterusan yang dibuat oleh Mardi dan kita harapkan agar penemuan-penemuan teknologi-teknologi yang diperolehi ini akan dapat dikomersialkan untuk kegunaan lebih ramai pengusaha-pengusaha tanaman di negara kita.
Smallholders under the Rubber Industry Smallholders Development Authority or RISDA may stand to benefit if the federal government allows the export of ketum leaves. The Minister of Rural Development, Datuk Terima said it would not be an offence for the rubber smallholders to plant ketum to generate supplementary income if the export of ketum leaves is lawful.
Kalau dah legal, dah ada pendapatan, kenapa tidak? Kalau dah jual 1 kilo berapa puluh ringgit dan dianya dari segi undang-undang legal, saya fikir tak menjadi kesalahan. Kerajaan belum memutuskan, tapi saya ingat satu hari kerajaan akan memutuskan jugalah. Kajian telah dibuat di seluruh dunia. Di kebanyakan negara sudah ada kajian tentang bagaimana ketum boleh digunakan dalam bidang perubatan. Tapi saya ingat biarlah yang itu diuruskan oleh Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. Cumanya saya fikir bahawa sampai masanya nanti kita tengok bagaimana keputusan kerajaan yang positif lah kepada ketum.
He said this after attending a 2022 Padang Terap RISDA Prihatin Pekebun Kecil Makmur program in Kuala Nerang, Kedah today. The minister was asked to comment on a suggestion by Kedah Menteri Besar Muhammad Sanusi Muhammad Noor recently, who urged the federal government to allow the state to export ketum leaves specifically to Thailand for medicinal purposes. Coming up, new faces make up 70% of Johor Exco lineup. And the second examination session for the Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM 2021 will be held from the 5th of April to the 19th of May. The Education Ministry or MOE in a statement released said this session is for SPM candidates to sit for the oral and listening tests for Bahasa Melayu and English subjects, as well as practical for science and written tests. The MOE said the SPM 2021 second session examination is for candidates who were unable to sit for the tests held from the 8th of February to 29th of March. The candidates involved were those who tested positive for COVID-19, who were undergoing quarantine as directed by the Health Ministry, flood-affected victims, as well as special cases approved by the examination director. The statement also said the examination board would like to remind all candidates involved in the second session of SPM to check, confirm and print the examination registration statement, which contains the designated examination centre information, date, time, code and examination papers from the 1st of April 2022. The statement added that all relevant information can be accessed via the link or through the e-Lembaga Peperiksaan mobile application, which can be downloaded through Google Play Store on the 1st of April. Now, MOE would also like to remind candidates to bring along all relevant identity documents and printed examination registration statement to the examination centre. Now, the Health Ministry has targeted 10,000 volunteers under its agencies and associations to register for the My Champion program. Now, these volunteers will be trained and appointed to provide services on the field, become an agent of societal behaviour, and at the same time, strengthening the health of the community. Its Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said that these proactive steps are taken to overcome three main issues, which include to help the country during the endemic phase, to increase a healthy cultural life, and to monitor and maintain environmental cleanliness and sustainability.
Kita memerlukan satu pendekatan yang melibatkan seluruh negara, whole of nation approach, untuk kita jayakan semua cabaran yang telah saya gariskan tadi. Dan pada bulan Julai nanti, insyaAllah kita akan melancarkan program saringan besar-besaran rakyat Malaysia. Kita akan mensasarkan 1.5 juta rakyat Malaysia yang belum melalui saringan kesihatan akan dapat saringan kesihatan yang pertama, dan My Champion juga akan digerakkan untuk mengenal pasti mereka yang berisiko tinggi, contoh yang sudah usia 50 tahun ke atas, yang tak pernah langsung menjalankan pemeriksaan ataupun saringan kesihatan.
My Champion is a program organised under the Agenda Nasional Malaysia Sihat, or ANMS, which encourages the public to live a healthy lifestyle. On another note, Khairy said a new law to ban smoking and the possession of tobacco products, including electronic vaporizers for people born after 2005, will be tabled in Parliament in July.
Undang-undang tersebut sedang dibuktamadkan oleh Jabatan Peguam Negara. Saya rasa dalam tempoh seminggu dua ni dah selesai, dan boleh saya bawa ke Jawatan Kuasa Pilihan Khas di Parlimen dulu untuk saya bentangkan kepada Jawatan Kuasa Pilihan Khas Kesihatan dan Teknologi.
The Health Minister had previously said the new law, described as a generational endgame for smoking in the country, would help to reduce exposure to cigarettes and tobacco products for future generations. He said if the individual is 17 years old and Parliament passes the law, they will never be able to buy cigarettes in this country ever again. Tobacco use accounts for 25% of all cancer deaths globally and is the primary cause of lung cancer, according to the World Health Organization. Now, 10 state assemblymen today took their oath of office as Johor State Executive Councillors, or EXCO, before the Sultan of Johor, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar, at the Audience Hall of Istana Bukit Serene this morning. The new EXCO members include Johor UMNO Youth Chief and Larkin State Assemblyman Muhammad Hairi Mat Shah, Ledang Wanita UMNO Chief Khairi Nisa Ismail, National MIC Youth Chief K. Ravin Kumar, Datuk Muhammad Jafni Muhammad Syukur, Datuk Zahari Sarip, and Muhammad Farid Muhammad Khalid. The others who took their oath are Kota Tinggi Puteri UMNO Chief and Johor Lama State Assemblyman Nurliza Noh, Johor MCA Youth Head Ling Tien Sun, Lee Ting Han, and Muhammad Fazli Muhammad Saleh. Meanwhile, Menteri Besar Datuk On Hafiz Ghazi said as many as 70% of the Johor State Executive Council, or EXCO, members announced today are young and new faces. When announcing the matter, he said that this time the EXCO lineup consists of leaders of various races, apart from taking into account the gender balance, a true reflection of Bangsa Johor. On the 15th of March, Machap State Assemblyman Datuk On Hafiz Ghazi was sworn in as the 19th Johor Menteri Besar. Datuk On Hafiz, the Simpang Renggam UMNO Division Vice Chief, succeeded Datuk Hasni Mohamad as the Menteri Besar following Barisan Nasional's landslide win in the recent Johor state election. On another note, Johor ruler Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar today reminded all the 10 newly appointed members of the State Executive Council that they have no time to take it easy after taking their oath of public office. Sultan Ibrahim stressed that public interest must come first and that as members of the State Executive Council, they must be focused on fulfilling their electoral promises made during campaigning, as well as to always be responsible, honest, and trustworthy. The 64-year-old state monarch reminded the EXCO members that they have a duty to the people who elected them to power. His Majesty told the EXCO members to be diligent in going back to meet the public and not just show up during campaign time or be too comfortable in the office alone, as this is no longer a honeymoon time. His Majesty also noted that he will personally monitor the performance of each EXCO member and advise the new EXCO members to be diligent in their responsibilities according to their portfolios. Coming up in sport, Aaron and Wee Yik to face Fajar and Rian in Swiss Open semi-finals.
With the MERS 999 application system, getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
Now, Malaysia Rugby will be organising state-level tournaments to unearth new talents for the national squad and boost rugby activities in the country. Its President, Datuk Syarul Zaman Yahya, said the tournaments would start on 4th of June until the end of this year, involving under-17 and under-19 players, both for the male and female categories. Datuk Syarul Zaman explained that it would involve 7 A-side tournaments because they are easy to implement, while the 15 A-side type, which is the basic category in this sport, is not organised much and should be increased.
Kita melihat contohnya antara umur 17 tahun dan senior, pemain senior ni secara puratanya 21 tahun lah. Jadi antara 17 dengan 21 tu ada 4 tahun. Gap dan juga 21 tahun tu. Antara kata lain, macam bola sepak ada President Cup. Jadi lebih kurangnya begitulah.
He added that Malaysia Rugby was very satisfied that it has been given permission to resume state rugby leagues in Selangor, Pulau Pinang, Melaka and Putrajaya, which also includes the involvement of the Malaysian Armed Forces teams. He said the 4 states have been given permission by the National Security Council. Now, after failing to live up to their top billing last year, the national men's doubles of Aaron Chia and So Wee Yik will seek to go one better when they face Indonesia's Fajar Alfian and Muhammad Rian Ardianto in the semi-finals of the 2022 Swiss Open Championship. Aaron Wee Yik have yet to win a World Tour event, and they will be eager to do so in Basel this week, especially after they managed to beat Mark Lamphus and Marvin Seidel of Germany, 21-11, 21-13 in the quarterfinals. Aaron Wee Yik needed just 33 minutes to beat the German pair to continue with the hunt for the first championship in their international career. In the first set, Aaron Wee Yik started brilliantly when they reeled off point after point to tame the 7th seeds of the championship. Now, moving on to the second game, the same script repeated itself as Lamphus Seidel continued to make mistakes at the net, and the opportunity was not wasted by the Malaysians, who romped home to victory. The national duo, who were formed since 2017, have never won any title, with their best achievement being runners-up at the Saarlouks Open 2018 and 2019 All England and 2020 Thailand Open. And that's it for this evening. In our top story, consumerism programs to nurture smart consumers and ethical traders. Join me again for 12:30 news tomorrow afternoon. I'm Jessica Lee. Thank you for watching.